All right. Thank you all for coming here today and witnessing this fabulous event. We're here to talk about some major sandwich discrimination in this country. Hot dogs are sandwiches, all right? Right? So, what considers a sandwich? 2 pieces of bread? 2 pieces of whatever? No, 2 pieces of bread with a filling and other condiments that is optional. What is that? Is that a hot dog? Is that a hot dog? Okay. Yes, that's what I thought. Well, I'm very curious to see what my opponent's side is, and I wish them the best. That is all I have to say.
So, his definition of a sandwich is 2 pieces of bread with any filling. If we're going to consider that to be what a sandwich is, here are some things that would also qualify as a sandwich. I have a bit of a list here. Most traditional pies, pizza, cookies, pastries, cakes, fried shrimp, chicken nuggets, most pastas that have an additional sauce or something to them, and most dishes containing a tortilla, such as tacos. This is ridiculous. The word sandwich has become so vague that it doesn't even convey what a traditional sandwich is anymore. It's so wide that it's not useful. So a hot dog is its own unique thing, and to say that it is a sandwich just dilutes what both of them are individually. That's all.
Well, to clarify, I would like to point out my definition of a sandwich that I am using for this is an item or a food consisting of 2 or more pieces of bread or a sliced roll with a filling in between eaten as a light meal. Now, I believe a hot dog very much so fits into this category. You can eat it for lunch, dinner, as a snack. But how much time do I have?
You have 10 seconds.
That's my definition.
So that definition comes from Merriam-Webster, which somewhat famously describes literally as an antonym of itself. But basically, that definition there also applies to all the things I mentioned, and frankly, doesn't really convey what it needs to convey. It's vague, it doesn't work.
Well, Merriam-Webster, also the founder of Webster, also agrees that hot dogs are sandwiches too.
And Oxford's definition does not.
Well, I mean, Oxford definitely. Do I respond?
That's all.
Let me interject your point of order. You guys are really off base, but that doesn't matter. What you are being given is an allotted amount of time to speak, that you're not using your time. Diego, you are using your time. You have 60 seconds to speak, so you can speak. But let's narrow that down into, say, 30 seconds. Take 30 seconds, state your case, and then it goes over to the other side to state their opposition to your situation. You follow me?
Yeah.
And if you want, we'll kind of say, okay, your time's up, now you go. If you would like that, we'll do that. Would you like that?
Yes.
Okay, we'll do that.
All right. So,
I have to bring up another corner. Okay, so in 2016, the American Hot Dog and Sausage Foundation, I believe is what it's called, did a survey of Americans to discover whether they believed that a hot dog was a sandwich. 54% of Americans said that a hot dog is not a sandwich, and only 33% said they did. Approximately 11% weren't decided. Additionally, for those who were under the age of 29, 80% said that it was not a sandwich. So you're going again to say that it is a sandwich goes against what a majority of the country believes. Time?
20 seconds.
That's all I have to say on that matter.
well, in 2016, actually, National Hot Dog and Sausage Council actually did come out and say that they do consider hot dogs a sandwich. But it's you can fact check that if you would like.
I'd like to fact check
Yeah,
that.
that's fine.
Can we pull up that actual link?
The National Hot Dog and Sausage. Also, you are talking about going against the majority. Well, we're not here to discuss majority, or we're not here to go against anything. We're here to state our opinions and give facts to our opinions. In my opinion, and the fact of the matter is that if we're ready to live in a world where we consider meatball subs a sandwich, I think we can allow hot dogs to fit into that category too. I mean, it's the same thing, just some balls and roll up. But that's all I have to say personally for that.
Yes, Diego, your time.
Okay. So, while we really need to get the bond to pull this up because I'm pretty sure that isn't. I believe that what their quote was is that at one time the hot dog may have been considered a sandwich, but considering how much of an effect it currently has, to qualify it as a sandwich would no longer do it justice, and so the National Hot Dog and Sausage Foundation stated that it was not a sandwich.
You have another right? Well, they're also going to bring up probably the orientation of a hot dog, and they're going to say that a sandwich is a sandwich because it's eaten horizontally, and it has a bottom and a top piece. Well, if I were to turn my hot dog 90 degrees, it would probably have a bottom and a top piece, correct? Correct? Well, should your orientation of a sandwich really conduct if you consider it a sandwich or not? Is that a little ridiculous? No?
Well, I'd like to point out the way that our team decided the definition of a hot dog was actually, or a sandwich, my apologies, was actually considered by a slice of bread with a filling, a slice of bread consisting as the top portion, and then filling, and then a bottom slice of bread. The filling can optionally be another slice of bread, which I don't know if Bryce is here, but he's been saying that bread is a bread sandwich forever. So, yeah. So it's not necessarily dependent on the orientation of the meal. It is considered on the construction of it, regardless of axis.
So if you want to look at this right here, I pulled up the actual document, and it says that that the National Hot Dog and Sausage Council has stated that the hot dog is formerly known as a sandwich, meaning it is no longer one.
Well, you mentioned fried chicken, pasta, stuff like that, correct? As fitting to my definition of a sandwich?
To be first to the letter of what you said.
Yes. So I would just like to clarify how that at all contributes to two or more slices of bread or a sliced roll.
Okay.
So, we have actually defined the word bread as being any food made.
I'm sorry, we haven't defined it. The Oxford
Yeah.
Dictionary has defined it as this.
It is a food made of flour, water, and yeast, or another leavening agent mixed together and baked. So we defined all of the things that he said as sandwiches, assuming that it followed the technicality of the fact that all definitions found under this heading are explicitly being considered as any subform of the head category that follows or defines that follows our definitions of bread and contains or is coated in something. Meaning that assuming that you take his definition, which includes a roll that has been cut down the center or cut, that can also be displayed as all of the things that we said before, which are most pizzas, types of cookies, pastries, cakes, breaded items, pastas, and that's my time.
Well, you guys are forgetting about the two pieces of bread. Shrimp, pasta, and other thing wouldn't be considered slices or pieces of bread.
Pasta is made.
That's all.
Okay. And this one, that's how pasta is specifically made. It's taken up and then sliced down into pieces. But moving on, ignoring that, even with all those technicalities, the definition, what everyone thinks of when they think of a sandwich is not a hot dog. It's not anything shaped like a hot dog. it's something completely different.
We are not here to change we're not here to change the definition. We're simply here to apply the definition. And applying this definition of an item or food consisting of two pieces of bread or a sliced roll with filling in between directly relates to a hot dog. Yeah.
I'd like to bring up the fact that the Merriam-Webster specifically states 2 or more slices of bread or a split roll having a filling in between. This means that a roll, being defined as a piece of bread, could literally be any of the things that we listed below. This is all of the things that we've already said, such as pastries, cakes, cookies, anything else that involves yeast, a rising agent, water, and flour.
Are you really ready to consider shrimp breading a roll? If that's what you.
So going by the assumption that a split roll, or I will Google what the definition of a roll is. Oh, okay. So, in fact, if you Google roll definition, it doesn't bring up anything relating to bread. So that's pretty funny. It is a small, often round loaf of bread, which means that, assuming that the breading of a shrimp came from bread, you could consider it a roll. There you go. Yeah.
All right, we're really here to talk about not the hot dog itself, that's meat for the most part, but we're here to talk about the bread, right? And hot dog rolls are the same thing as Italian sub rolls, correct? And do we refer to submarine sandwiches as submarine sandwiches? I think you do. So, if we're applying that they look the same, they act the same, they basically are the same, one is just smaller. The difference is that there's just a hot dog in place of some Italian cold cuts that I am very ready to call hot dog a sandwich.
Okay. In regards to, then we're back to the orientation, the way it is covered. With that, you have 2 pieces of bread, let's call, for the sake of simplicity, each cut portion of the roll in individual pieces. Or just call it the roll what it is, since that's what we'll call it. What you still have is a vertical level of ingredients. It's bread followed by filling, and then bread again. With a hot dog, you have a different. That's not what it is. It's using the bread in a different way. It's not using it as a sandwich does.
So if I were to hold my Italian sandwich in a different way, it's not considered a sandwich?
That's a good point. However, you're holding the sandwich incorrect in the wrong way. You're not holding it as it's intended. With a hot dog, it's clear that it's going to holding it this way it gives it less stability and makes it harder to read. That's not how it's intended to be.
I don't personally believe it's about how it's intended to be. I think it's about how you're wording. 1 second. So just to clarify what you guys are stating, you're saying that this filling bread is a sandwich, correct?
Yes.
And then you're also saying that split filling is a sandwich, correct? Because isn't that what a submarine is? Yes.
I would say that this would be a representation of what a submarine sandwich is, as opposed to
Yeah.
something like that.
But if I were to flip this to go like that, is that a sandwich? Is that no longer a sandwich?
A sandwich is defined by a vertical stack.
So then what do I call my submarine sandwich at that point?
It's still a submarine. Yeah.
Not according to your guys. Well, so if I'm eating it like this, it's not a sandwich. Oh, so it is.
It's a submarine sandwich because that's what its original form is.
Oh.
But when it's not prepared or arranged that way, it's not a sandwich.
Understand that a submarine sandwich is a different subsection.
Gallery, hold on. When we talk about before they got started, you guys hold on. Give them the respect. They're the ones standing up here doing this. That's okay. We all don't need to laugh at somebody's phone accidentally going off. Go ahead, please continue.
Just, I want to restate the point that got cut off. Just understand that a submarine sandwich is actually a subcategory under sandwich.
But it is a sandwich.
Yes.
Yes. And so if I were to hold my hot dog in this orientation, it'd be a sandwich.
No, not technically.
Why?
I believe it's mostly how the ingredients are laid out, rather than most ingredients in a sub would be layered on top of each other within the bread, whereas on a hot dog you go on top of
So if
the
I were,
side.
sorry.
Make sure we can hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is that it? So if I were to layer my hot dog condiments and other accessories, it would be a sandwich.
If you prepared it like a sandwich, then yes, it would be a sandwich. However, as a traditional hot dog is created, you're putting these condiments and other things on top, which means if you were to turn it as if it was a submarine sandwich, it would turn this way and those things would fall off.
But is it still a sandwich? Is what I'm trying to get to.
Is the submarine
If I
sandwich?
turn my submarine sandwich in a different orientation, is it still a sandwich? Yes?
Because,
Yes.
Yes.
because of the way it was prepared.
Because of the way it was prepared. So if I prepare my hot dog in the same exact way a Subway sandwich or a submarine sandwich is prepared, is it a sandwich?
Yes.
Yes.
If you prepare if you prepare a hot dog as in a Frankfurter with a bun and then you orient it as a sandwich, then it would be a sandwich. However, when you turn it and you prepare it in a different way, it ceases to be a sandwich because if you hold a sandwich at a 90-degree angle, it's gonna fall out. That's the intent that goes against the point of a sandwich.
So you're saying it's orientation that decides whether it's a sandwich?
No, we're saying how it was
How it's
prepared.
prepared, also. So, does a sandwich have to be layered?
Actually,
Well,
okay, I'd say it's how its orientation for its intended function. The reason a hot dog is like this is so that nothing falls out of the top. The reason a sub sandwich is like this is so that nothing falls out of this side, so you can hold it like this and eat.
I don't, in any of the in any of the definitions that I have been given between Merriam, Oxford, or any other source of definition, it doesn't say anything about how it's prepared or how it's layered.
This is going by a general consensus. I would imagine that if you go onto any image providing websites such as Google Images and you literally Google the word sandwich, you're probably going to get a bunch of vertical sandwiches, as well as if you Google a hot dog, you're going to get a hot dog instead of a sandwich.
So if I were to take a slice of bread, put some Fruit Loops on that bread, the other top of the sandwich on the bread, or on the Fruit Loops, is it a sandwich? I'm just, is it layered?
Yes.
So you have sandwich, Fruit Loops, or bread, Fruit Loops, bread, yes. And if you were to flip the orientation, how you guys say it's wrong, you have right here a hot dog bun, bread, hot dog, bread.
Probably got a lot of Fruit Loops on the ground.
Well, forget about Fruit Loops.
At that point, I'm pretty sure it ceases to become. Wait, that's not.
But we're talking about hot dogs. Because that, so you're saying it has to be layered, right? What is not layered about a hot dog? If I were to turn it.
Just clarify, may I clarify?
Yes.
Vertically layered in its intended setup. That's all.
Where does it say in any definition that a sandwich has to be vertically layered?
This comes back where I proposed the Google image search. You would be able to visibly tell that most, if not all, sandwiches are intended to be eaten vertically.
See that is the problem, ladies and gentlemen, is that we are going by what is intended to be, and not what we want to be. Right?
You were so strong until that moment.
We are our own person, and we decide whether a hot dog is a sandwich or not. And I think that's up to you guys. I'm not here to convince you otherwise. I'm here to state my opinion and how I feel. A hot dog is a sandwich. I'm not changing my opinion. They brought up some very good arguments and points, and I mean, they did a very good job. And that's all I have to say, and I hope you guys think of it.
give them equal
Give them on the good
respect.
on most of the last of your statements. I agree, you brought up a lot of good arguments. I'm not going to change my opinion on this one. As a closing statement, I would say that the reason we have words is to describe things for how they are going to be used, as their intended purpose. Just because you want red to mean blue doesn't mean that red means blue, which is what it sounds like you're saying at the beginning of that statement. Irregardless, I think this is going to be a good debate, and thank everyone here for your time.
Well,